Okay, here we are on part three, and part three is going to cover the miscellany or the expenses. Um, so at this point in time, we've covered a majority of these ledger accounts, and now we're going to post to the last couple ledger accounts, and we're going to start with the miscellaneous expenses. So we have miscellaneous expense. This is account number 505, and this occurred on the 15th. We have miscellaneous expense. $750 by writing a check, number 106. So we have, coming from page 2 of the general journal, $750 expenses normal balance is the debit side. So we posted the debit, and then its balances are on the debit. It is our only our only maintenance expense. Sorry, maintenance, not miscellaneous. It is our only maintenance expense was $750. So our balance at the end of December is $750 for maintenance. Now we can move over to the miscellaneous expenses. We have two miscellaneous expenses. I mentioned that earlier that I only had posted one source document. That was my fault. I didn't realize there was a third page of source documents which only included that one source document. So we're going to add it right here. This is miscellaneous expense on the 24th, Christmas Eve, huh? Christmas Eve, we got those postage stamps to get those last minute gifts out, I guess, or something. A debit balance for miscellaneous expense, and its normal balance side is the debit. Then on the 31st, we got a bank reconciliation statement. So we needed the bank to do some work for us. All right, again, I don't have a source document for this, so I'm just kind of walking you through it. We wrote a check for the $15 to the bank to provide those reconciliation documents. So this comes from my second page of my general journal. It's $15 added to the previous balance of $45. My new balance for miscellaneous expenses is $60. Okay? We have rent expense. We just have one time where we paid rent, and that was on the 9th. And on the 9th, we paid rent by writing a check 104 for $850. So again, I post the date. I post where it came from, page 1 of the general journal. Rent expense is a debit, and its normal balance side is a debit. So our balance for rent at the end of the period is $850. And I believe our next account is utilities expense, and this occurs on the 20th. Again, we talk about paying our utility bills, water, electric, gas. Sometimes a phone might come into that. Just different utilities that operate your physical location. So December the 20th comes from page 2 of the general journal. We have a debit of $183 and a normal balance side of $183. So at the end of the period, we have a balance of $183 for our utilities. That is the last of our general ledger accounts. So we've completed every single account from the chart of accounts. And now once you have the balances, we're going to be able to post these to the trial balance. We're going to start that next week, and we're getting close to being all done with this. So I hope these three-part videos will help you work through each of the ledger accounts and get the correct answers, because once you have the correct answers to each ledger account, most of you are going to be very familiar, because it's the last thing we left off before we left. You're going to be familiar with posting the trial balance, the 6-column worksheet, and then determining our profit or loss, and then breaking down into those 3 financial statements. So look forward to that next week. If you have any questions, feel free to email, text, leave it in the Google Classroom, whatever works for you, but I'm looking forward to seeing your finished work on the general ledger. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather we're going to have outside.